did you make it? So that's like
shit. Just do it.
And the burlap ruffle right here.
Oh my
That's
God.
perfect.
Okay.
It is.
That's fine. It's a straight line.
Found something. Couldn't do it. Their hands were tied. You know, there was just no way that was gonna happen, and so they moved it to October 2nd.
Hello, I'm PB Raisinbread, and today I am going to answer concisely,
Catch up a little bit, you know?
Oh, shit.
I'm working on
once and for all, the question that's on everybody's mind. What should you draw? And I'm going to answer that question for you. A question that people have asked since the dawn of time. Spoiler alert to the end of this video, I'm not really. Similarly to my last video, I'm just going to sort of ramble for 30 minutes and then at the end say, fuck dude, I don't know, just draw what you want to draw. And if you take that philosophy with you through life, then good for you, you did it. Okay, so some fun tips and tricks for what to draw. And I do want to preface this with, this is just sort of a general long-term solution. It's not like a Inktober prompts or 30 ways to fill a sketchbook or like a 100 head challenge. I'm not actually going to give you like content to draw, which you might be like, well then what's the fucking point of this video? I don't know. Why are you watching it? Anyway, this is more of just like what type of art do you want to make kind of thing, right? Okay. Number one, what are other things that you like besides drawing? With all of the art that I like, not even just visual art.
Oh shit, I forgot about these dudes. Okay, hold on.
They're hard to learn. Like I had to have other friends learn first and then they taught me. And you know,
This time? Oh shit. I'm not gonna forget.
But shows, things like Dimension 20, or manga, like the guy she was interested in wasn't a guy at all. The artist of that manga loves the music that she talks about, right? The whole premise of the manga is two people bonding and having a relationship over a mutual love of a specific genre of music and specific artists that they both love. And you can tell that the artist really loves those as well, and she wanted to tell a story because of that. And so all of the, you know, sports anime, the, in Dimension 20 when they do Never Stop Blowing Up, Brandon Lee Mulligan chose that for Izzy, and Izzy's a part of the cast because she loves those 80s action movies, and they chose the cast because the people in the cast love those 80s action movies.
If you don't know anything about Neopets, watch some of my other videos first, but also if you just want to hang the fuck on for the ride, then you can do that too. I will maybe explain things as we go. Anyway, yeah, fairy ruins plot happened at a fairy festival.
Am I listening to a video about the Neopets economy as someone who has never played Neopets? Yes, I am.
They love the tropes and cliches and the, cliche like plot points and everything about it, which is what makes Never Stop Blowing Up so fun and funny, because they really obviously lean into that so much and everybody loves it. So find something else that you really, really like, that you're like, I want to make a story about this thing that I love so much. It could be cooking, it could be, I don't know what you like. I don't know you. Just what do you like? And write and draw about that. Speaking of things that you like, when in doubt, make fan art, but make it like a series. There's this one artist who did Percy Jackson fan art, and then I did one Google search later, and I looked it up because I could picture it so vividly in my head. It's from artist Valenci on Instagram. And it's Percy Jackson art, but it's a Hades AU. So Nico is Zagreus, and I'll probably put a picture of it up here, but it's so genius, and the art is so beautiful, and it lives rent-free in my head, because the person took two things, Percy Jackson and Hades. They're like Greek mythology. I love both of these things. I love all of these characters. I'm gonna combine them, and it turned out beautifully, and you can do that too. You can take things that you like and find sort of a common ground between them and combine them in that way. Or you could just make fan art of a plain old thing and just make it a series. Be like, I'm going to draw 10 pieces of fan art of Legend of Zelda, and I'm going to put it into a zine, and that'll be your long-term project, and then you'll have 10 pieces of art out of it. Another step, what is this? Step 3? Yes, step 3. Make a list of artists that you look up to, maybe around 10. Do they have anything in common? Do they have a similar profession? Do they all make YouTube videos and stream? Is that something that you sort of want for yourself? Are they all animators or storyboarders or musicians? Right? What about them do you want to emulate in yourself and in your art and practice? Print out a couple of your favorite drawings or even lyrics or poems if they're musicians or writers, and just paste them into your sketchbook, and then just look at them and think, why do you like their stuff? What about it do you want to improve on yourself? What do you want to take with you in your own stuff? And I find that really helps me. I've done it in my shitty sketchbook tour. It's when I don't really know where to go and I feel kind of like, I don't like what I'm doing right now. I don't like my art that I'm making. It all feels yucky. Then I look at other people's art, and then I'll do maybe like some like master copies or like sketches of other people's stuff, and be like, oh, I really like the way that they did this, and I really like the way that this other artist did this. You know, that whole steal like an artist thing. But it might just be like, you're like, hey, I love literally all of the artists that I like are storyboarders. Maybe that's something that I want to look for, and then you start researching storyboarding and how to do that instead of just, you know, scrolling through Instagram and looking at the artist. Actually, like looking up research and YouTube videos on how they do their profession and going more into like the technical nitty-gritty stuff could also be helpful too. Creators that you like might have videos on YouTube, and they might have interviews of their process or live streams of how they do things, right? Instead of just having, you know, this is also valuable too, but instead of just following 200 artists on Instagram and just seeing their polished, finished works, see if 5 or 6 of them have a YouTube where they do live streams and, 2-hour long videos of them just drawing in real time and talking about what they're doing and how they do it. And those are so incredibly valuable, I find, personally. And I know that Rebecca Sugar it was an interview that I think she did on Cartoon Network where she talks about, what is it? Week 1, you draw whatever you want with no reference. And then week 2, you only do research and you don't draw. And week 3, you draw with reference. And then week 4, you draw again without reference. I feel like that's also a good format, not necessarily like a weekly basis, but drawing with no reference and then doing research, drawing with reference, and then drawing with no reference again. And you can sort of see that improvement as well.
200 or higher, you would get 15 points per
Oh,
item.
that's
Of course,
okay.
that is what everybody wants. Any item that was rarity 1 to 79, you get 1 point. And then for rarity 80 to 89, you get 2 points. Then for rarity 90 to 97, you would get 6 points.
This is
Okay,
fine.
I'll take it. Rarity
You know, you've got to
98
try
100,
new
you get
stuff to
4
figure out what
points. Okay,
works.
Sticky Snowball is here.
I
And
shouldn't have done that
singled
because then I'm gonna
out
smudge
because
it.
despite
Fuck.
it having
That's
a rarity
fine.
of
Okay.
100, you only get 1 point for it.
That's sort of a short-term solution to that, like research. And then from that, you might have an idea and be like, oh, I want to, maybe do a pitch for a cartoon show like Rebecca Sugar, and how would I go about that? Yeah, and so then that goes into the having a long-term project. Why should you do this? Why should you have a long-term project that you're working on? Because you'll always have something to do. You'll always have something to draw or something to make music about, if you're more of a musician, or something you'll always have an idea about, at least for the duration of the project.
Just eight point items, I guess, how is that fair? And then a ton of people
Then we just make a bunch of scribbles and cover it up. Cover that shit up, dude.
And, as you're working on this project, you can go do other things as well, or you can always write down ideas if you can't make them at the moment. So when you're finished with this project, you can start a new one. I know that I have a notes full of different ideas. Some of them are half-baked, some of them are more detailed and fleshed out, but most of them are kind of random half-baked bullshit. But anyway, so okay, you want to start a project. What should you do as your project? There's a lot of things that you can do. Do you have a dream job that you want, a dream art job? Have you looked at like an animated show or painting or comic book and said, damn, I really wish I could make something like that and be a part of something like that? Then figure out how to do it. Try and make it yourself. Is there a specific process or medium you want to try? If you love a medium or something that seems way out of your league, then do it anyway. Do a bunch of research about it. Find a place that can help you. For example, one thing that I've always wanted to try, but I haven't had the opportunity to do yet, is risograph printing. So, you can find a place online that helps you with those prints, shows you how they would like the files organized, and then base a piece around that end product and do that research. And then, the first one will probably be shitty. It'll be a learning experience and you'll fuck up, and that's okay. Get over yourself. I'm telling you this because I love you and I believe in you. Get the fuck over yourself. This is me looking in a mirror. Hey, get the fuck over yourself. And then just sort of combine the steps as you work. Take all of the things I've rambled and bullshitted about, or take none of it. I don't care. Make a list of things that could be long-term projects that you want to make. It could be a zine, a comic, an animated short, a short film. It's definitely a spectrum of, some people start with, I want this end product. And then some people start with, I have a concept of this story that I want to tell, but I don't know what medium I want to tell it in. And that's okay. You can search around and find a medium that you want. And if you were I really, really want to make a comic, but this is how I started Eternus. I was I really want to make a comic. I have no idea what the fuck I want to make a comic about. And that was the part that I struggled the most with. That's okay. You can find resources to sort of help you. There's research on a bunch of different mediums and ways to tell a story, and there's a bunch of different resources on how to write a story or a thesis. There's a bunch of different writing prompts that can help you with that as well, and that's also where the sort of fan art comes in if you can't really get a grasp on a concept that you want. Starting out making little comics or little animations about other pieces of media that you really like can help you feel more comfortable in the medium before you start brainstorming on a concept. What else? How do you finish the project? This part I can't help you with because I'm still struggling to finish my project. But some things that I found that have helped me actually start it and sort of continue progressing is to make a due date or a goal for yourself. And this is tricky because things happen in life and sometimes you can't complete things by the end date that you set for yourself. So it's a combination of discipline, but also not hating yourself and not really beating yourself up if you can't achieve a goal, especially if it's unattainable, because it can be either one of two things. Either you set an unattainable goal and then beat yourself up when you can't make it, or you don't set a goal at all and then you don't do anything about it because you don't have a deadline, you know? So it's really balancing those two things that I struggle with personally. But I had a goal to finish chapter 1 by the end of the year. I'm not going to make that goal because I had a bunch of stuff going on in life and my job got super busy and I had tendinitis and I had to take a break, and the pace that I had set for myself was a little bit much. And so then I had to draw back a little bit. Instead of a page every week, now I'm doing more of a page every other week. And I missed about a month and a half because of the tendinitis. And I had a huge commission that I got as well from the One Shot Podcast Network. And so then this was on the wayside a little bit, on the back burner, and I really put a lot of time and effort into the commission. So things like that can happen, and that's a very good thing, that happened to me. Well, the tendinitis wasn't so good, but the commission was a very good thing, so, it can go either way. But I'm still trying my best to get as much as chapter 1 done by the end of the year. But, Thanksgiving and Christmas are going to be rolling around. And obviously I'm going to get super busy again with getting presents ready for people. And my job's going to get super busy. So, there's a bunch of things like that. But if I can get to page 20 done by the end of the year, I would be really proud of myself. And, I'm just going to keep on going. So, yeah, and it also gives you a little bit of leeway to that balance between doing a bunch of stuff and then also going outside and talking to your friends and family. That balance is also really important as well. If you say to yourself, the only thing that I want to draw is Link fan art, which I can really relate to. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna put a picture up of, I finished Echoes of Wisdom and I bought some Sculpey, some polymer clay, and instead of working on my comic for a weekend, I made this little Impa. And I love her. She's so cute. And I don't regret not working on my comic and working on Impa instead, because now I have her and she's on my bookshelf and I'm staring at her right now and she's so cute. Anyway, if you just want to draw Link fan art, list all of the possible pieces that you can make. So for example, it's I want to do one for every Zelda game or every 3D Zelda game. Maybe one for every Zelda game could be a cool long-term goal, but maybe you start with every 3D Zelda game, and you're I want to do this for Skyward Sword, and I have this idea for it, and I have this idea for Twilight Princess, this idea for Majora's Mask, and you sort of lay out what you want, a sentence for each one that you want to do, and you're oh, I have 8 ideas for illustrations that I want to do. And whenever you're I don't know what to draw, you can pull from that and make one of those illustrations. And then you'll have a, consistent series of pieces, a body of work. When people are hey, you draw, what do you draw? You can just pull that up, Yeah, if you do that, you might even get a grasp on your own art style. Gasp, which is something that eludes even me to this day. Yeah, so anyway, if worst comes to worst, you can always do something like the 100 head challenge or Cringetober or something, or you can draw a pregnancy scare comic with your OCs from middle school. Just draw something that you think is fun or funny or cool. I'm drawing this comic because it makes me practice everything, everywhere, all at once, and it's helpful to see the application of a bunch of practice, perspective and expression sheets and blah blah blah, all that stuff. And it gives me something to draw, right? I have all of the thumbnails for chapter 1 lined up, and I have 20 more pages of stuff to draw that I don't have to think too hard about the content because I already did all the hard work earlier this year. So yeah, in conclusion, fuck if I know, draw what you want, and have fun. Okay, bye.
I hate them. I think that they're so ugly. I hate them, and I know everybody else hates them too, and I feel really bad. I'll never forget her name. I found her in the pound, and I always wanted a baby pet, cute with her little pajamas and stuff. I just can't, for some reason, there's just something weird about the Mincy, and I just we're like tier 6 new scenes. Like, oh, I don't know. I feel like that's a little, if anything, I wasn't expecting that. This one where this one person's like, I hate you, and the other person's like, you want to kiss me so bad. It's totally occupational hazard, for sure. That's like the best case scenario if you get attacked by a vampire, because I'm sure you die a lot. In fact, boys, only there's one lost boys in the group. So Vicious is the leader, and he's a little bit older than Rylan. He's a couple hundred years older than how Vicious does this particular thing. They have this conversation, and the vampire hunter, he's a good killer too. He's all do it often, and so the fact that Vicious did that, to waste it one of his times where he turns somebody into a vampire, just tries to pretend he's eating it, but he's not getting any better. And finally, she starts to bring him blood, and he's like, what the fuck? And she's like, just drink it. And he's like, and how, all the things that she's done. And then since Rylan's 600 years old, he's able to, kind of have some common ground with her, where he's like, oh yeah, I remember 100 years ago, that was fun back in that day. And she's able to be like, yeah, I remember that. And so it's like she has someone to talk to that remembers, her days back to health. She keeps, giving him blood here and there, and he's like, where are you getting it? And she's like, don't worry about it. And they just talk, all day, in the garden, as he gets stronger. I mean, you gotta know where the blood's coming from, right? It's her blood, because she's dying, actually. She has, terminal Neo disease, and that you're a vampire, and that you're gonna live for, thousands and thousands of years, if not forever. That gives me some comfort in my dying days of knowing, this is what you can do for me. What's wrong with me? Why did I think of this? Anyway, so he has to, drink her blood until she dies, but it's, happy for her in a way, because she, I don't know, she just, was really lonely, and she got to have, kind of this last thing that she got to do after she had been kind of just isolated for so long. Where he's like, what? And he's like, vampire?
I'm
You need somebody to
running
teach him how to
out.
be a vampire. His dad
And
taught him how to be
she's
a vampire hunter, but nobody's been there to teach him how to be a vampire. So that's where Roland comes in, and he teaches this dynamic that Victor doesn't want to admit is really helpful. And that's Victor's #1 target. Knows Vicious, or was a part of that, or knows what happened to his father, or anything like that. And Ryland initially didn't want to tell him just because so I don't know. I think that maybe that whole thing happens, and Vicious uses that as a chance to just kind of escape. And then the two of them go their separate ways. I'm still the arc where they're separate. I was supposed to live a good life. I promised someone that I would live a good life, and I didn't. I should have told you the truth. And so yeah, you don't get it. There's comics for the don't want that. Okay, so enough with these two who ruined in the time since we last talked, aka like 2 seconds ago, since it's all in one iPod into it. You guys remember iPods? Remember we had to have like, it's just so funny to look back. We had to have a separate device to listen to music on. Isn't that crazy? Oh my god, we're going too fast. I just had to take both sides. Just let me do this. Anyway, here's the Poochie, and I remember seeing the commercial of this and thinking like it was gonna solve all my problems. I was in like a weird age bracket where I saw this on TV and I was like, that's what I need. Like, that's what's wrong. Exactly. Yes, that's what I heard. It's better. I was like, the Poochie's like small. God, I just made so many excuses for this thing. I was like, well, its legs are so short, it just can't do much. This guy, this did nothing. Like this shit, the gears and stuff, that doesn't work. This is all plastic. It would just go bam, 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 bam. The ears would move a little.